we're still very passionate about ensuring that we continue to praise Jesus, and we make sure that he's our number one aim, and we look to him as our savior.
Mark Ralph Mansour is a successful entrepreneur in international finance. He built and sold an advisory business in a few short years. Mark is also a committed marketplace believer, proud of his heritage as an Orthodox Egyptian Coptic Christian.
So the book is designed for Christian business leaders, entrepreneurs, who's a Christian and who's also wants to ensure that they make a daily habit out of connecting with the Word.
He has a heart for entrepreneurs and business leaders, wrestling to implement and integrate their faith in the marketplace. This passion and his own journey with Jesus led Mark to write a daily devotional aptly called The Daily Wisdom Well.
I really think, I think everyone should write a book in any way, and there's so much opportunity these days to do it. Like, our technology we've got is so beautiful. It's just such a good way to get your thoughts out and to share that with others.
So we'll get into some of the content in a minute, I think, around what I think some of those business principles and leadership principles are. But from a Christian perspective, do you see work in the secular environment as ministry?
Every part of our life is almost a ministry, especially if we're going to go to a secular environment where we can demonstrate to people that there's different ways of approaching the world.
Mark Mansour, so good to see you.
Thank you.
We don't know each other at all. We met online.
We did.
And you're good enough to sort of come down to maybe a serial killer's house or something.
No.
Just sort of turned up with Mary, who's amazing.
Cheers.
So congratulations.
Thank you.
You're going to get married soon, which is a great institution.
It is.
And you are marrying above yourself.
I am.
You are.
I do know that.
I think we've both done that.
Yes. That's the aim, isn't it?
That's it. Increase the gene pool. Mark, I was just fascinated by what you've done, and we're going to talk a little bit about your book, because I think it's a phenomenal thing to do. Very valuable for people to do a daily devotional.
Yeah.
Maybe we can talk a little bit about you, Mark, where you've come from and what you're doing. Then we'll get into the book.
Yeah.
So can you give us a little bit of your professional background? Because your book is for business leaders and entrepreneurs. You wanted to give us a little bit of an idea of your experience in that space.
Yeah. Thanks, Mark. Thanks for having me, and thanks for having me in your beautiful place. It's nice here, and it was nice to meet Helen, and I really appreciate it. So my background is mainly in, so I'm a chartered accountant by trade, and also a registered tax agent here in Australia. Yeah. I spent a bunch of years working and plying away in accounting firms, and filling out timesheets and things like that, which is a lot of fun. But my background is mainly in accounting and finance, and I decided to open up my own accounting firm, specializing in Australian international tax, and I did that for about 5 years, and then I looked to exit it a couple of years ago. And ever since then, I had some free time, and I thought it was a really good opportunity to write a book. And other than that, I am a director of a supplement company that's based in Hong Kong, and that keeps me very busy because we're growing rapidly, and we offer some incredible products to our clients.
Fascinating space.
It is, and we spoke a bunch about that, and it's so important because our health is literally the key to our lives, and it's really important to keep on that. So that's my quick one of my professional background.
Yeah. I think you're being very humble. I
am.
You built I am. I'm proud of my humility.
Yeah.
No, it's good. I mean, you built a business the hard way. You're still young. You've done a great job.
Thank you.
On that, and shown some great leadership skills to do that. Do you want to give us a bit of an idea of your Jesus journey? Were you raised in the church? What's your background on that and your encounter with him?
Yeah. My Jesus journey is really great and beautiful. So I was lucky enough to be brought in the church and raised in the church, and so my family is Coptic Orthodox, and so for people who don't know, that's pretty much Egyptian Christian. And so what we used to go to church quite a lot. My parents are both quite devout, and people used to go to church maybe just once a week, but we went twice, even 3 times a week sometimes. And we used to go to Sunday school, which was actually on Saturdays, which was pretty cool as well. So my Jesus journey was really great. As a young kid, we went to kind of church, and it was just, for us, church wasn't just a place of God, but it was really a place of community as well. And so we would go, and all my friends come from church. When I was young, all my friends were from church, and it was just a really good opportunity to connect with beautiful people. And it was like that until I hit my late teenage years, where I started to question and doubt. And I think that's why St. Thomas is my favorite disciple, because we call him Doubting Thomas. But I really stepped back and wasn't sure about my spirituality and how all that worked. And I did kind of get away from the church, and it was like, it wasn't the best time of my life, but it really was an eye opener as to what was happening in the world outside of the church. And as I grew up and I developed and got older, I saw the real world, and I saw like the worldly desires and the hedonistic lifestyle that people live. And speaking to people, like, I'm a really inquisitive person, so I used to just ask people questions all the time. And most people, I always thought that worldly success was worldly, and that would satisfy you. And if you're making money and you're being successful, whatever that means, then you were doing well at life. But most people I spoke to who from the outside, they looked like they had that, they were so empty inside, and they didn't have enough in them to keep them fulfilled and satisfied with their life. And as I kind of grew through my 20s and my late 20s, I came to see that there's so much more to this world than what we see from the flesh, and that there's so much more to it in like, we have such a beautiful soul, and we have a spirit that we need to quench. And so then I started getting back into the church. Like, I was always part of the church, but I think my heart wasn't there for quite a number of years. And then as I just got older, and I saw all these things, and I saw the spiritual warfare that is going on in this world, and I saw how people are generally trying to put people down, and how Satan, who he's been called the ruler of this earth, is making everyone step away from their souls and disconnecting to the spirit. And as I saw that, I really started to question what was right and what was important in life. And that led me, thankfully, back to the church. And like, when I speak to friends about this, they say, there must have been like an exact moment where this happened. But for me, there wasn't an exact moment. It was just more so taking time and reflecting. And I'm so grateful for the opportunity that God's given me to come back to His presence, and to come back to His house, and to connect with Him. And what gives me like really what hope in this space is like some of the parables that where Jesus said were like, the prodigal son for me is one of my favorite parables.
So good, isn't it?
Yeah, so beautiful how like he just goes to show that He runs back to us when we're ready to go to Him. And the other ones of like the lost sheep and the lost coin, where Jesus even said that heaven rejoices when a sinner repents, really gives me joy and hope that I could have come back into the church, into the fold. And I've been back for a few years now, and it really feels like my soul is like fluttering again, and has this is like lightness to my soul as well. And so my journey's been kind of up and down, but now I really feel really in touch with it at this stage.
That's great, Mark. That's so good. Back in the fold.
Yeah.
I do love the prodigal son story. It's just one of those foundations in Scripture, isn't it, of what it is to God's heart for the lost, and anyone, regardless of where they are, can come back at any time, which is awesome to hear. Yeah. And Coptic Church.
Yes.
So
Coptic
you're
Church.
Mark, I'm Mark. Coptic Church started by Saint Mark.
Yes.
Didn't know that until you told me earlier on today.
Yeah.
And for those that may not be familiar with some Egyptian history and the Coptic Church, Can you give us just a little bit of a background of what it means to be part of that community?
Yeah, of course. So most Coptic people you speak to are so proud about their Coptic heritage that they'll tell you everything. So I'll give you a quick background. So
Okay.
We're an apostolic church in terms of we can trace our patriarchs back all the way up until Saint Mark, who founded the church, and it was founded in Egypt, and it's been, in my opinion, a city on the hill when it comes to Christianity in a place like Egypt. So the way our church, well, let's take a step back. Our church is part of the Oriental Orthodox Church, and so that was split from the mainline churches at the Council of Chalcedon, which I don't know. In I think the 3rd or 4th century that occurred. And so while all the other churches kind of continued up until, say, the Great Schism, our church was separate or from there. And there's a handful of other churches within Oriental Orthodox other than the Coptic Church. There's the Ethiopian Church, there's the Armenian, there's the Syriac Orthodox, there's an Indian Orthodox. There might be a couple more. And so what's really special about our church and what we believe is we try to hold true what the apostolic fathers taught, and so we keep traditions the same as it was since Jesus taught us, and so that's something we're really proud about. And the other thing we're really proud about is we call ourselves the Church of the Martyrs, and so
must be one of the most persecuted communities in history, really.
It was. And so like even during the Roman times, we had like Emperor Diocletian, who was real hard ass when it came to
bad guy.
Yeah, it was a big bad guy.
Yeah.
And so he was one. And then we had like a couple hundred years of like peace after the Edict of Milan, when Christianity was made kind of the main religion of the Roman Empire, and then we had the Arab kind of Arabs come over and kind of take over Egypt, and so our church, and even then we suffered a lot. And so if you know much about Islam, they you either kind of kill you, they convert you, or you pay a massive tax. And so we've been under kind of that for a long time, but we still flourish. And ever since the diaspora come, where we spread to the Western world, our church has become a lot more mainline. And it's only really in the last kind of even like last century, where in Egypt we're actually able to kind of practice openly, and so before that we had to do a lot of things secretly and underground in fear of persecution. But ever since like the world opened up and people have moved to the Western world, like Australia, in the US and Canada and the UK, we've found our church has kind of really flourished because people really appreciate our traditional values.
Yeah, and there's a reasonable sized community in Australia?
Quite large, actually. Like in New South Wales, there's, I'm not going to say this right, but there's at least a dozen churches around here.
Nice.
And in Melbourne, there's probably about 8 to 10 churches as well, and growing as well, because a lot of people can really see the beauty in our church.
Love it. That's great, isn't it? And I love the breadth of the body of Christ. So many different expressions, from very traditional that can trace right back to Saint Mark to a bunch of Pentecostals that kind of got invented 5 minutes ago, but still lovers of Jesus. There's this huge big spectrum of people who worship him in slightly different ways, but collectively we're the body of Christ, which I think is awesome. Looking forward to Helen and I. Looking forward to coming and joining you at a Coptic church on Sunday down in Wollongong.
Yes.
So that'll be awesome.
I'm excited as well.
Looking forward to doing that together. Worshiping together, which will be amazing.
It's the best way. Yeah, and I agree. Like we're all part of the same body. It's just different parts, and it's a really beautiful way for us to kind of continue to get out there and spread.
I think sometimes we think about unity is not uniformity. We can be very different. We all agree on the same fundamental principles, and then we express it in different ways, and that's cool. Like I think we just need to learn to play nice together. There's so many divisions between bodies of believers, which is not helping the cause.
I agree. Like we are. There's so much common ground we have. Like 80-90% of what we do is so similar, and there's small areas in which which differ, and like. It's each to their own, and each person kind of thinks of ways differently. And the more I learn about it, the more I see it's potentially was politics and potentially was something else. And we're missing the grace of God when it came to these splits, unfortunately. But we're still very passionate about ensuring that we continue to praise Jesus, and we make sure that He's our number one aim, and we look to Him as our Savior.
That's it. That's how it works, isn't it? Fantastic. Mark, great to hear some of your journey on that. Can I bring you to this book, the Daily Wisdom Well? If you haven't read this, go ahead and get it. Fantastic. There'll be links in wherever you're viewing this or hearing this. There'll be links on the post to go and get this. Daily devotional written by yours truly, Mark, and great to have someone else who's writing daily devotionals as well. I was saying mine's the most given away book in the history of giving away books. And you have something unusual in this. It's 366 days.
Yes.
So every other devotional on daily devotional on the planet is 365 days. So once every 4 years, every Christian in the world has to read your book because it's the only thing available.
That's it.
Masterful.
Yeah.
Masterful.
It's the way to get the market, right?
It's great. It's great. If I write something else, it'll be 366 days. I'm going to join you on that journey.
Yeah. Feb 29 is such a beautiful day.
I know, exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Once every 4 years. But it's good.
Exactly.
No, thank you so much.
Pleasure. So congratulations on writing something like this.
Thank you.
Done a little bit of writing in the past and doing a bit more again now. A little bit. It takes a lot of time and effort and concentration and prayer and those things to do that. So congratulations on completing something like that. 366 doesn't sound like a big number until you get to about 120.
Yeah.
And then you go, wow, okay, there's lots to do. Can you give us an idea of why did you write it? What was the inspiration? Who's it for? What's it all about?
Yeah, no, good. Thank you so much, Mark. And I've heard a couple of people say this: the most important book in your life is not any book you read, but it's the book you write. And I truly believe that this is the most important book that I've ever done, and the biggest project and one of the most important projects I've ever partaken in. Not because I really believe it built my relationship with Jesus to the next level, and it's really kind of put things in perspective. So the book is designed for Christian business leaders, entrepreneurs, C-suite execs, anyone who's a Christian and who's struggling with time, but also wants to ensure that they make a daily habit out of connecting with the Word.
Yeah, absolutely. So leaders, entrepreneurs,
C-suite execs,
C-suite,
solo entrepreneurs.
So Christians who feel called into the marketplace to lead in a secular environment.
Exactly. Yeah.
Fantastic. Which is what we're all about here at the Monday Movement, which has kind of got me excited about the book and what you're doing around that. So we'll get into some of the content in a minute, I think, around what I think some of those business principles and leadership principles are. But from a Christian perspective, do you see work in the secular environment as ministry?
I kind of see everything relating as ministry, relating to God. We want to shine our light into the world, and Jesus says He's the light, and so we want to emulate Him as much as we can. Right? Obviously, we never get anywhere near that, but I do believe that work is ministry. It's an opportunity to help others, because we know that we still have kind of worldly kind of needs, and to be able to meet those needs while also providing the living water, the water that will quench your thirst forever, is really beautiful, and that's part of the reason why I called it the Daily Wisdom Well, is because the Samaritan woman story for me is one of the most beautiful stories, because it was this lady who didn't think really much of herself, and she went just to get water to go, and she was doing an activity to meet her worldly and flesh desires. But Jesus offered her so much more. And so I really believe work is an opportunity to do that.
Yeah, totally. Yeah, I think that is the correct answer to the question. Yeah, I believe, if we're a follower of Jesus, you're in full-time ministry, wherever. And God builds us and places us somewhere. And the people that you're talking to, I think it's a difficult challenge to be a God-fearing leader in a world that's fundamentally broken. It takes to do it God's way and not just to do it the world's way. I think is you really have to think about it. And I think that first revelation is just what you've said, which is, if we're built for ministry and God's calling us into the marketplace to be a leader, whether that's C-suite, entrepreneur, business leader, then we need to think about God on a Wednesday afternoon as much as we do on a Sunday morning. and allow him to shape us and grow us in expressing his way of leading and serving and ministry, as much as a missionary or a pastor would. And I think people are still wrestling with that whole concept of, is my work ministry? And if it is, then, is God interested in my work? And if he is, well, how do I actually unpack that and make it make sense? And particularly with what you've done around linking biblical truth to everyday leadership challenges and what we can do at work, I think is such an important part of that journey. And to be able to do that every day is significant. It means that every morning or whatever time you might just read it, quick read and quick prayer, quick time with God, is you're thinking about him like every day. Just what I've found with daily devotionals in my own life, regardless of where they've come from, is usually if I'm reading something in the morning, there's something happening during the day where I get the opportunity to exercise it or think about it or put those things into practice. I think, we're kind of in God's boot camp. And if he's challenging us to read something every day, he's probably going to do something in the day that's going to allow us to actually activate that.
And another thing, I heard this before in some of your podcasts, where it's like the work was before the fall, and so it's like we were like made to work. We weren't made to just like kick back. I'm sure the Garden of Eden would have been an amazing place to hang out, pull up your hammock, relax, and have a nap. But God didn't allow Adam to do that. God's like, you got to get to work, and so I really believe that every part of our life is almost a ministry, and especially if we're going to go to a secular environment where we can just show, like, we're not wanting to kind of evangelize straight up full on, but we just want to kind of demonstrate to people that there's different ways of approaching the world.
Absolutely. And God says we're being transformed into his image. Some of us have got a fair way to go yet, but if he's changing us and shaping us, then we should be able to demonstrate a transformed life to some degree or another. Our life should be as much of a light where people will say, Mark, what is it about you? Like, why are you putting up with this? Or why have you got patience with that? Or why are you serving that person doesn't appreciate it? Or why you seem to have a lot of wisdom in this particular area. Where's that come from? I think we should all be able to see some of that fruit if we do things God's way. And if we want his outcomes, we've got to do it his way. So Mark, tell us about obviously actually just going back to one thing you said, which I had in the back of my mind, about writing a book. There's something about writing a book that really does make you think about all the principles. You might have 1,000 thoughts, but you actually got to put them in an order, think about the impact, what's the biblical truth associated with it. And it really does unpack a whole part of your life, doesn't it? Yeah. Builds wisdom and understanding of what you're talking about.
Yeah, because you have to get it on paper, right? And so like I think a lot, and I got a lot of things going on in my head, and that's why I had to write 366 pages, not 365, because I had extra things to think about. But no, I really think, like, I think everyone should write a book in any way, and there's so much opportunity these days to do it. Like, our technology we've got is so beautiful. It's such an easy way, it's such an opportunity to do so, and do it and get into it. So it was really like a journey, and even if it's like not a book for Christian book, and it's a secular book and relates to work, it's just such a good way to get your thoughts out and to share that with others.
Bernie Diamond. Do you know of Bernie Diamond?
No.
He's Christianity Works.
Okay.
I think he's just handed that over, but shout out to Bernie if you're listening. He when I was going to write a book 19 years ago, I just contacted him because he's written a gazillion books.
Okay, nice.
And said, how did you do that, Bernie? He said, one, don't write the book, just write a book. And that was such a liberating principle. Just write a book. If you write the book, you'll go into a whole perfectionist thing. You'll never actually get it done. But if you write a book, then that gives you the opportunity to maybe write another one or do something else, and you're actually going to get it done, which I thought was good advice. And the other thing he said was, don't put on a special language or a special way of talking. Talk as though and write as though you're sitting in a car next to your friend driving along, and have that kind of conversation.
Yeah.
And that just freed up the whole, I need to sound like, some theological prose. And so I found that very liberating. I thought it was good advice if anyone wants to write a book. Just write it?
I wrote it for myself, really, like,
Okay.
because, and I'm sure we'll get into this in relation to like my practices, but I felt like I was lacking the connection to the Bible, and like I love reading the Bible, and every time I get it, I feel good, right? And I feel like the Holy Spirit is inside of me when I'm reading, but it's just getting to that stage, and like, maybe it's just my laziness, or maybe it's like the devil trying to stop us, or and something like that. But for me, I wrote it for myself, so it's a principle, and I'm like, okay, I spent all this time writing this, so now I have to read it, and so now's an opportunity for me to have it in a quiet time and to connect with the Word every day.
Yeah, and I like it. It's a good discipline to have too, isn't it? And I think everybody has the same issue. You get up one or two who, how you doing? Yeah, I was up at 4 o'clock this morning reading the Word of God, shouting at the sky. I think that's great. But I think most of us do struggle with that, like just having that discipline of, or a reason for, or a daily devotional where you're just getting something. I think it's really good having worship on in the background. Sometimes I think we have to make it an event, but obviously sometimes it's just really, I think, just during the day, making sure we're connecting with God, praying, listening to worship things in the car, maybe listening to a sermon when you're driving somewhere. Just getting some encounter with the Word of God. And then it is good to sit and study and really chew on things. I think that's a great thing to do. But most of us can get the majority of input from the Word in other ways. Yeah, it's good. And daily devotionals is a great way to do that.
Yeah.
He says plugging the daily wisdom well again.
Yeah.
Okay, back to the book. Give us some of the key business principles. If there were 3 kind of like major ones that you, when you went through writing the book, that really resonated with you, that you found out working out in your life, what would they be? Just one at a time. What do you think?
Interesting. So three principles that are important for me. From a business biblical perspective?
Absolutely. Yep.
Yeah. For me, like what important one is integrity and being true to myself, and picking decision making that will ensure that I feel happy about things, and I feel at peace with it. So one of my favorite verses is, "For what will a man profit if he gains the whole world but loses his own soul?"
Yeah.
And so I look at that one and I've seen people who have done so well in this world, but they just they've lost their soul and they've got nothing there. And from my perspective, I always believed in integrity. And so for me, I wanted to continue to keep that strong.
Love that.
So that's another one as well.
Yeah.
Love, which is like God is love, and like Jesus even told us like the 2 greatest commandments: love your God with all your heart, soul, and mind, and love your neighbor as yourself. And so love is an important one, especially in the business world, because you're not dealing with just yourself. You're dealing with people, and you don't know what other people are going through. Everyone has their own battles. Everyone's got their own lives to really think about, and so. Having love in there is really, really vital.
Love and business, they don't often get talked about together, do they?
Unfortunately, they don't, because the world of business is so ruthless, and like we need to make hard decisions. Like I'm not saying that it's this world where everything works out well. There's a lot of hard decisions we need to make.
Absolutely.
But you can make hard decisions with love.
Yeah, that's true. That's true.
Yeah.
So the integrity thing I think is really interesting as well, like integrity, ethics.
Yeah.
I think as Christians, we're called to a higher standard. Just because it's not in the law doesn't mean that it can't be done. Like I think there's a level of legal compliance which we have to do. I know a lot of Christians that in business that don't, and that's just building a house of straw. It'll ultimately fall down. But there we're held to a higher standard as well. I think around ethics. We need to be willing to do things out of conscience, or what we believe the good God is asking us to do, and that's never really tested unless it's inconvenient. Sometimes the cutting corners, doing the slightly dodgy thing, is it's easier to do than going, actually, no, I'm not wanting to do that. It's hard to make those stands, but I think as believers in the marketplace, we absolutely have to trust God that if we do it His way, we'll ultimately get His outcomes and His will be done.
And like a quick story, like I remember when I was running my my firm, I had someone who double paid me, right? And it wasn't that much; it was only like several thousand. And I'm like, oh no, I definitely need to pay him back. Like he double paid me, right? And I had to go through it. I'm like, wait, is this actually double paying me? Because we used to do invoices in like 50%. I'm like, okay, is this the second 50%? Well, it can't be because this is the third 50%, and that doesn't even work. So I reached out to him. He's like, oh, I didn't even realize, Mark. Thanks for letting me know, right?
Sure.
And from him, it wasn't like, at that stage, it wasn't a big deal. Fast forward a couple of years, I'm working with him full time now, and he spoke to me recently about that. And he's like, Mark, I really appreciate you did that. I didn't know, I didn't realize that, but the way you approached it and your honesty and your truth really showed who you are as a person.
Absolutely. And it's important that we do that, demonstrate that, transform life. I mean, he's dealing with us, and he's shaping us and molding us into being more like him, and being willingness to surrender to that and go, if I make a stand on this, or if I do the right thing here, that's going to cost me. But inevitably it works out in his best interests, even if we don't understand at the time, for sure.
Yeah.
And the love piece, I've started writing a few things as well, and I've kind of wrestled with this. Is the secular world willing to hear about love in the marketplace? And there's a couple of brand love, and there's been some sort of marketing type things, one or two in the culture sort of piece, but not a lot. It seems to be such a gap between love and business, and yet the principles make a lot of sense, don't they?
Yeah. And like even talking to people, secular business people, they talk about how important it is to have that feeling and to make sure you have that. And like another part of that also comes is service and sacrifice, and that could be a separate thing, but also forms part of the character that Jesus was, and it shows us who he is. And it's funny because I talk to business people outside of the church, and they talk about service, they talk about sacrifice, and I'm just like, I'm like,
so close, buddy.
Yeah, I'm like, you're there. It's like Jesus. And so
he's the ultimate, isn't he? The ultimate example of service and sacrifice.
Is the best to go there and like sit there and work for others, and to wash his disciples' feet. And at that moment, to do something like that was considered like almost blasphemy. It's like, hey, like you're going down on your knees and you're kind of washing your thing. But servant leadership is true.
Yeah, absolutely. And how he treated women as well.
Yeah.
Oh, he was the greatest liberator of women ever.
Yeah. Seems
to get a bad rap these days, but people forget the history. Such a confront to culture in so many different ways. Like no male, no female, no Jew, no Gentile, no rich, no poor. He broke those sort of segments of society. Such a revolutionary thing that we sometimes take for granted now.
If anything, he's like, I didn't come to what was the thing? I didn't come to work with the people who are already kind of there. I came to help the sinners repent.
Yeah.
And he used to sit with the tax collectors, and people were like, why are you sitting with these people? And he's like, well, the tax collectors and sinners need me.
Love that. He spent, most of his most harsh words were for the religious of the day. So we all have to be a little wary of how judgmental and things we can be when we should be. Someone once said that when you draw a line around a group of people, Jesus is on the other side of it. It's such a convicting thing, because we do it all the time, don't we? Go, no bad people, or this or that, and the other. Jesus is on the other side of that.
Yeah, Jesus with those people.
That's where he, that's where he is, which is awesome. So ethics, operating ethics and integrity, really important.
Yep.
Love, as in service and sacrifice.
Yep.
What else, Mark?
Another one that for me is this is a new one that I'm kind of starting to onboard, right? Again, this is part of my my integration back into the church, but also into getting back into more business, is this idea of stewardship, and that it's not my business, it's God's business that I'm running for Him. And
talking my language.
And I struggled with that for a number of years, because I'm like, I work hard on this, I did this, and then I'm like, wait, did I? Like, who gave me breath? Who gave me life? who helped me, who taught me, who protected me, and so that's another one that I'm still learning on that one. I'm still learning on all these principles, but
Absolutely.
That's another one that I can see where it will truly help you succeed is remembering that it's not your business, that it's God's business, and we're just stewards here. We're just kind of workers in His vineyard.
Yeah. It's a tricky one, isn't it? Because I think there's so much about us that wants to, grab and take and hold.
It's fine.
Like if I don't have, what happens? And we spend a lot of time thinking about making it, preserving it, not so much about how to give it away. But if you do have that stewardship mindset, I think that it becomes a whole different sort of mindset shift. It's all His. People say 10% is His. Well, actually 100% is His. And He gets to decide what you do and how you do those things. Someone once said to me, which I wish they hadn't, you get seed and bread. That's the income you've got.
Yeah.
The seed is for other people's harvest, and the bread is for you and blessing you and your family.
Yep.
So you think about that too deeply. Am I consuming seed that's really meant to be for someone else's blessing?
Interesting. Yeah.
Just like horrific if you have a sort of godly mindset on wanting to bless people and God's provision for us is enough to be able to do all the things He's asked us to do and operate in the society that He's placed us, and with the people that we're ministering to. I think it's not unreasonable to say if the Lord has placed you somewhere and He wants you to operate in a particular sphere of influence, that He will give you the resources to be able to do that.
Yeah.
But we need to be generous mindset, have disciplines to be able to sort of give. Otherwise, we start to get quite grabby and just overcome our natural greed by having disciplines around giving.
And that's another thing I was speaking to kind of secular business people is this idea of giving. It's like, hey, every time I give, I get more. So why don't I give more? And I hear that so much, and I'm like, Jesus again, man.
That's right. Yeah.
Come on, man.
I've heard this before somewhere. Where's this principle come from?
Yeah.
So stewardship, I think, is great, and particularly for Christians, I think, to think about it's all His. The other thing around what you just said, which I find quite interesting again, is the subjecting ourselves and being obedient to Him. Often I hear conversations about, I've got this dream, I want to do this, and God's going to bless me. And sometimes I feel a little uncomfortable about that. I think it should be more like, God, what do you want? Like, what do you want to do with this business? What do you want to create? And how can I serve and submit to you? Now, He gives us desires. And I think, if we're surrendered to Him, fundamentally surrendered to Him, then we get a lot of those desires and ideas and inspiration and favor, and people turn up and opportunities turn up, and that's Him orchestrating things. But ultimately, I think we need to keep surrendering those things to Him. As you said, it's not us. He's given us, the breath this morning. We're still here. It starts there. But even the gifts and the talents and the abilities, He's given us abilities to create wealth. If we're in leadership positions, He's probably given us a level of capability and natural talent in those areas. And we need to, like all talents, we need to grow that and stretch that and learn and submit those things to Him. But essentially, it's a surrender and obedience. I think is one of the big keys.
And it's not about inaction and just like do nothing. Like you can surrender. Again, I struggle with this idea of surrendering because at first I'm like, that's it. God, you do all the work. It's like, no, you need to go knock. You need to seek. You need to ask. You need to get out there and do the work. And one of my favorite parables, another of my favorite parables, I've got so many, I love Jesus' parables, is the talents and the workers. And it's like, all right, you've done what you've got. You've given 5, you've given 2, you've given 1, right? And the guy with 2 talents could have been like, hey, he's got 5, man. I want more, right? But he didn't, right? But the person with 1 was like, hey, I'm just going to sit there, hide it away, and do nothing with it. And he got rebuked, and his talents got taken away from him. So we were told not to be inactive, but to take action.
Yeah,
and to do that in a way, in a fruitful way.
It's a brutal ending to that, isn't it? He gets taken away and given to the one who had many. Yeah. But I think that does talk to the importance of faithfulness, diligence, working with excellence, putting your hand to the plow. The Bible says we're co-laborers with God. That means there's an element of our hard work and labor that we need to activate for sure. It doesn't just happen to go and lie on your bed. In fact, quite the opposite.
Yeah.
We need to be. Someone said, what was it? He feeds the birds, but he doesn't throw worms into the nest. You got to go out and make it happen, but
like that one.
Subject to him, under him, listening to him, expecting his favor, and walking with him, co-laboring with him is a big key.
Yeah.
So love that service, sacrifice, the whole love, peace, ethics, and stewardship.
Yep.
So what sort of topics do you talk about in the book? Do you want to pull a couple of things out of there that you feel that are really important for people to understand?
Yeah, I've done some homework, so let me just...
Okay, yeah, grab it. What do you got? We got a list. Mate, there's about 4 hours on there.
Yeah, I know. Well, 5 hours maybe. And the thing is, like, I love people who can quote like verses from the Bible, and that's part of the reason I wrote the book, because I thought of like if I write enough from verses from the Bible, I remember them. I still don't remember any verse. If you I can't tell you this verse is this one, so I've got the thing to help me. But the thing I found when I speak to business people, the hardest thing I find is people. Right, everyone I speak to says, the biggest struggle I have is with people. And so it's managing underperforming people. It's finding and hiring good staff. It's delegation. And so for me, the advice I want to try to give to people who are in this space and who are struggling, I just want to try to find some examples in the Bible of that one. And so I had a really successful Christian business person speak to me recently, and he's like, okay, Mark, like, all right, your book's all good. There's love's good, stewardship's good, leadership's good, perseverance is good, all that, but I need some practical advice. Okay, I've got this person who's not doing well, what do I do? And then, okay, I step back and I'm like, okay, let's really think about this one. And so I thought about the parable of the barren fig tree in Luke, I remember, Luke 13, 6-9, which... I
was just going to say Luke 13, 6. No, I'm like you, I struggle here. I think Paul at one stage said, somewhere it is written, that kind of frees us up. Might have been Peter, actually. Yeah. Somewhere it is written.
Yeah,
that's my go-to. Somewhere it is written.
Yeah, it encompasses everything. And it's such a beautiful story. This is again a beautiful parable of redemption and reflection as well. And so, effectively, what the way the story goes is the owner of a field goes to his gardener and sees, hey, there's this fig tree. It's been here for 3 years. It hasn't produced any fruit. It's like, come on. Right. And then the gardener is like, okay, leave this with me. I'm going to dig around it. I'm going to fertilize it and give it a year. If it produces fruit, well, but if not, then cut it down. And Jesus, in all his stories, he saw fruit that wasn't performing, or he saw trees that weren't producing fruit, cut it down, throw it into the fire, right? So we understand that if you're not producing fruit, you can't just kind of continue, right? Because you're taking away as well. If we know the way kind of gardens and plants work, the roots of a tree, if anything, it's struggling because it's not creating fruit, so it's taking more nutrients from others. And so in this story, what we want to look that there is no opportunity when we see underperforming staff to have some sort of redemption. And like the law forces us to do it in terms of like performance planning and things like that. But the way I want to think about it is, if the tree's been around for 3 years and Jesus said, give it 1 year as a redemption kind of period, let's have a bit more grace to our workers. If they've lasted 3 years with us, let's give them a year on a performance plan. And and if most of the time when you're working with underperforming people, they'll realize that it's not right for them, and some people won't continue within that year, but some people will pull up their socks and get better. And so that's like one principle that I spoke to, and I'm trying to help people implement in their
and there's a mandate on the leader there too, isn't it, to fertilize and go around, like spend time, help. How can I just give? What else do you need to be? I've always tried to do that on the principle of everyone deserves a second chance. Yeah. Like, someone's not performing, it could be for a number of different reasons, other things that are happening in their life, how they've been prepared, the role that they've been placed in, the people that are around them. There's lots of different reasons, but having that conversation that says, this is not sustainable. Like, something has to shift. What do you need? How can we help? Does, I think, bring what you're saying, which is they either go wrong place, which is fine. Like if they're not in the right place, then is there somewhere else that we can place them, or they go off and work for someone else where they might feel more comfortable, more aligned to their gifts and talents or culture or whatever, then that's fine. Or if they go, oh, okay, didn't know that was the standard I was meant to be operating on. Yes, I have this problem. This is where I'm frustrated. Can you help me with this? And you see some people go just make a whole different, like they grow another leg, another whole step change. Others go, no, too hard, we're out. Either option is fine for everybody.
Yeah. Yeah. And I do like to agree with the mandate. Like it's up to the leader to go out and actually put in the effort, because I'll put my hand up for this. There's times where I've worked with underperforming people and I can blame myself. I'm like, hey, I didn't put enough effort into making sure that these people performed well.
Yeah. I obviously train a lot of leaders, and if they go, oh, my team's this, my team's that, your team is a reflection of you, is an uncomfortable conversation. But, I think we have a duty to create an environment where people can do well. And if people aren't doing well, challenge, encourage, change the way we operate in order to be able to help them. Everyone's different. You're treating all your team the same. It's an issue. Everyone has different motivators and different ways of being and different, reasons to exist, different talents, and being super mindful of that. That's a great, it's a great story. I love the fig tree piece. That's such a good one.
Yeah.
What else you got, Mark?
All right. What else? For people, I've got delegation. And so again, this is things that I always struggle with as well. And I even struggle like with my relationship as well. Okay, I ask my partner Mary to do something and I'm like, I can do it quicker. Right. I mean, it's not about that.
You can't do anything quicker than Mary. She's amazing.
Yeah, she is amazing. But like there's times where like, I'm just like, and even in the workplace, I'm like, oh, what's the point of explaining it to this person? I'll just do it. But the principle, the way that Moses worked with his father-in-law and high priest, Jethro telling him, hey, make sure you make leaders of, hundreds and thousands and 50s. And so it just goes to show, hey, there's team structure that needs to be put into place. Yeah. And so the Bible even goes to show us this, that we need to go out of our way to make sure we put people into place. And it's even giving us an example of team structure, right? Because you can't have a team structure where some people can, but like a flat structure of like 1,000 direct reports, right? What you have is you've got different direct reports and they report to them. And so it's a beautiful principle that's highlighted there.
I mean, Moses, that was a real challenge for him. A couple of million grumpy people.
Yeah. It's like, we're doing all right in Egypt. Where'd you take this? What are you doing here? Yeah.
Grumble. Okay, let's wander around the desert for 40 years.
It's like all I'm eating is manna. Come on. It's falling from the sky. Where's the fish?
Yeah, we are so like that, aren't we? We are so like that. I was having one of those weeks this week, so having a good grumble.
Yeah.
But I think mindful of structure and I think we were talking before. You talked about even with Jesus with the miracle, the multiplication and the loaves and fishes. He did the same kind of thing, didn't he?
Yeah.
He sat people down in groups and breaking things down into manageable team size, putting in authority structures. All makes a lot of sense. What else you got on there? Organizational structure.
Yeah. Finance is another one. I speak to a lot of people.
So much in the Bible about finance.
There is so much. I mean, Proverbs and Ecclesiastes. My example I have here.
Ecclesiastes.
It's one of my favorite books.
So good. Yeah. It's only you and me. Everyone else hates it.
Really? I don't know.
They just go, a terrible book and it's all grumpy and groaning.
It is pretty awesome. Grumpy. But I'm a realist, so I enjoy it. It's like, oh, yes, you're right.
It's so
like
good,
the man who loves abundance is never satisfied with abundance. It's like, oh,
meaningless.
So true.
Life is meaningless. Yeah, it's so good. It's so good.
Yeah.
No, I do like it.
And it really just puts life in perspective because like all is vanity. I'm like, oh, you're right. Like it is kind of all like that.
Yeah.
But my example with financial, I got two, right? One of them is the taxes, right? And like every business person I speak to is like, why am I paying so many taxes, Mark? And well, I'm a tax agent, right? So I speak to many people about their taxes and their financial situation. And part of it, I'm like, hey, look, it's a cost of doing well. But like, again, Jesus gives an example of it when he's like, hey, render to Caesar's what is Caesar's and render to God what is God, right? And so while we have a duty for our civic to kind of pay taxes and to do what we need to do, he never said pay to Caesar what is more to Caesar, right? He's like, pay to Caesar render to Caesar what is Caesar's. So we need to find as business people and as execs the right amount of, we need to plan properly and use the tax strategies in our completely legal way. We're not doing anything illegal, right?
Yep, 100%.
To make sure we do that, because ultimately it's our stewardship of our business, and so we need to make sure that we continue to invest in our business, and we have enough cash flow to continue to keep the business afloat.
Yeah.
And so paying your taxes is great, and we need roads and we need this and that, but I'm also highly encouraged of using smart strategic ideas to ensure that you protect your hard-earned income.
Wise as serpents, innocent as doves.
I was going to say that one as well.
Yeah. So great minds, mate.
Yeah.
Great minds.
No, it's great.
It's true, isn't it, that we pay taxes where taxes are due, and to Caesar what Caesar's. That's part of our civic duty and part of being part of community and surrendering to authority. It's tragic when I see Christians who want to operate at a different level, not from a revelation perspective, but we'll just fudge this or do that, or operate on, won't get the license you meant to get, or won't pay the taxes you meant to get, or overstate balance sheets, or do a bunch of things. And then when things go wrong, the devil's attacking me. No, mate. It's like wisdom. Just play by the rules.
Yeah.
Submit to the authorities. Jesus with the going the extra mile under a brutal Roman regime, carry a Roman soldier's kit for a mile. No, go 2 miles. And what are you saying around that? We do need to surrender, play the game in the way the game is meant to be played, and then rely on the revelation of God and the favor of God and his opportunities. He can turn the heart of a king. He knows all our competitors. He knows all the opportunities. He knows everything, and we have the opportunity to serve him and be a part of what he's doing and building his kingdom. It's huge, isn't it?
Yeah. The next one I got, because I'm an accountant, I love this one, is Jesus literally telling us to do accounting, right? Which I think is beautiful, right? And let me just get the verse for you.
Yep.
Luke 14:28-30, when Jesus says, "Hey, and if you're gonna build a tower, who wouldn't sit down and count the cost before that?" And as business people, and I've worked with like other business people who are like, it will cost us this, and I'm like, well, have you check the numbers? No, it's my feeling. And I'm like, no, let's sit down and count these numbers. And I'm a big, again, being a numbers guy, I'm a big kind of believer in knowing the numbers to help us make financial decisions. And we don't need the numbers for any of, that's the biggest reason, in my opinion, is accounting is to help us make really good decisions. And again, another biblical principle. So it's beautiful that accounting is blessed by God.
Yeah, so even accountants can serve God. Even accountants can serve God. Who'd have thought?
Yeah,
Accountants
exactly.
and lawyers.
So the lawyer's different.
They're both going to be replaced by AI anyway. So, it's only limited time.
We'll see.
No, I think that with the AI thing, I think it's a fascinating area. I had Josh on here a couple of sessions ago.
Yeah.
And he's fantastic. Like, just did a great job talking about AI and human-centric AI, the importance of doing those things. I won't go down that rabbit hole because I can talk about that all day as well.
Yeah, me too. That's scary.
So Jesus was an accountant after all, despite all the evidence to the contrary.
Partly. He was everything anyway, wasn't he?
He was. Yes is the answer. What else do you have on there?
I got a couple more.
Yeah.
I wanted to also talk about like mindset and personal and burnout as well. And so another thing I see is it's just like running businesses and working is a lot of work. It's not a walk in the park. I know people who are up at like 4 or 5 a.m. and they're working until like 8, 9 p.m. All day, nonstop.
Yeah.
And they're so tired. And Jesus doesn't ask us to work all the time, right? There's times where he's told his disciples, he's like, hey, you guys have been tired, go rest, right? Yeah. He's literally telling us to rest. And one of my favorite verses in the Bible is when he's like, hey, my yoke is easy, right? Yeah. Take it. And it's just like a beautiful verse, like, oh yeah, I get to wear this with Jesus and walk with Jesus. Another beautiful story I have, which is not biblical, but it's the footprints in the sand. Have you heard that one?
I do, yeah.
Where it's like, hey, when I'm struggling, there's only one kind of footprint. It's like, hey, I'm carrying you, and it's a beautiful
where
one.
were you? And he says, no, I was carrying you.
Yeah,
love it. It's a great one, isn't it? I think there's some great biblical truth in that, though, isn't there? I think so. The yoke is easy. I've always liked that as well, because if I'm like stressed out, like something's missing. I'm either not surrendering, yielding, or I'm trying to do too much, or I'm doing some things of my own strength.
Yeah.
And we can all be busy for a season, for a reason, but you can't rev line at 120% for long periods of time without suffering all sorts of mental, physical, and spiritual consequences, relational consequences, that's for sure.
And even the creator of all of us rested on the seventh day, right?
Yeah.
So if he's done it all that,
Saturday's the correct day, isn't it?
Sabbath, Saturday, Sunday. There's one day we're going to rest. That's right. That's the one. It's actually funny you say that because in Arabic, the word Monday is the second, right? And so that's the idea. So yeah, probably right. Saturday is probably the proper Sabbath day.
Yeah, exactly. But definitely, I think God demonstrated rest.
Yeah,
we all talk about that, but he also demonstrated work.
Yeah,
as well. Like he considered, created, saw that it was good, checked it. Like there's a whole mandate around work, and he demonstrated what he didn't need to do that. He could have just instant, but he demonstrated what it was to work a week and then take a rest. Either which he needed, but we needed to hear it.
Yeah, and it goes to show you if you rested, then we need to take some time.
So how do you relate that to mindset for an entrepreneur? Say,
it's just about like not trying to do everything.
Yeah.
And so just remembering to take a step back and to reflect as well, because rest and reflection is actually the theme of July in the book. And so I really believe that they go together, because you have a chance to take a step back and to reflect. And so we saw in Genesis, you just mentioned that God said it's good. So he took a time to reflect and to look back and to see what else, what he's done. And so from a mindset perspective, we know that we need to surrender to God, and we need to kind of do that. But we also have to actively rest and take it out of our way and remember that we can't do it all. And we need to take some time just to kind of take it easy. Yeah.
A couple of quick comments on that.
Please.
I don't know if you've seen Cal Newsom's book, Slow Productivity. You come across that? He's been around, it's been a little while, but
what else has he written? He sounds familiar.
I think he's done a few.
Okay.
Yeah, this is the only one I've read of his, but it's basically less is more. Like you focus on less, you get more done.
Yeah.
His whole argument is, for everything you do, there's a whole lot of compliance that goes with it. So if you have too many things, you spend more time doing the compliance than the thing. But if I've always tried to, particularly with large, complex organizations with all sorts of thousands of things you can do, having all those resources and all those people concentrating on a few things, you absolutely can revolutionarily change things quickly. So less is always more. Focus on less, slow down to speed up. And even physiologically, the ability to find some white space in your day, in your week, in your month, in your year, engages the frontal cortex, which is where all your creativity and innovation and real thinking comes. That's why we get great ideas in the shower, day driving, 3 on the holiday, driving. Yeah. Sort of suddenly you get the sort of flood of things as we sort of engage the advanced pieces of our brain. Yeah. As opposed to sort of further down the brainstem. So definitely helps with creativity, innovation, relationships, mood, all those things.
And how do you go about advising kind of people to do less? Because again, that's something I struggle with, because I feel like I want to do more, but I know that it's not going to be successful.
I tell them and they ignore me. That's what happens. No, I think, a lot of our strategic planning is all based on just consolidating down to a few key priorities. Yeah. And that's it. And then we get into a 90-day learning cycle. Interesting. And so then we reevaluate every 90 days. So there's an opportunity to look at, well, what else is going on? What have we learned? What's changed? And things are changing fast. So we do need to be adaptable, but need to keep on a tight focus.
On a few priorities.
So it's part of the strategic planning and the leadership training. We just talk to the principles that we're talking about now, which helps people understand those things. But we have to think about it, because it's our natural instinct, particularly with smart, capable entrepreneurs. It's like, oh, that's an interesting thing. I'll just wander off here and what's this over here? And teams go wild because it's Tuesday morning. The boss has come back in and he's got 3 new ideas, and we haven't even done the last lot yet. So it's an entrepreneurial thing. I try and help them go like, no, don't do that.
Yeah, that's enough.
That's enough. How about we do this one first? Let's once we've done this one, when we talk about it then. Yeah. No, so really just try and get people to concentrate on those key priorities. Huge key.
Because we can't do too many. You can't do too much things at once.
Totally. Massive key for sure.
We're not. Yeah.
So what else?
Yeah. Let's see what else I've got here. Another one I've got is I've spoken to
Whose interview is this? It's mine or yours? Like this sounds
both
either
of
way.
ours. We're both Mark's.
That's right.
Mark's interviewing Mark. I don't know who's going to do it.
So what's on this one?
This is imposter syndrome, right? And again, we go back to Moses, and we go back to where he asks God, he's like, God, I'm not eloquent in speech, like please help me. And it really goes to show that even Moses, who people say he had a speech impediment, and he went out and he showed the 10 Commandments and did it a couple of times, not on the first time. And the way he led the Israelites out of Egypt, he did all these things that were absolutely incredible.
Yeah.
But he wasn't he personally didn't think he was capable of doing these things. And he had to ask God for power and not for power, but for the strength and maybe God didn't give it to him directly, but he gave him Aaron to be his kind of mouthpiece and stuff, which again is a beautiful aspect. So it just goes to show us that as leaders and as like people, when we move quickly, we can feel like we are imposters in this world, and we just want to remember that people, even Moses, who's like one of the greatest leaders of in the Bible of humanity, also went through this one.
Totally. Yeah. It's great, isn't it? That God would use someone with a speech impediment to speak.
To meet people as well. It's like
Pharaoh. Who am I? Gideon and like fearless warrior, and he's going like, what's going on? And I think I'm always very encouraged by the fact that the Bible is full of rat bags and reprobates and sinners and lost people that God just picks out of nowhere and decides to love and use and do his purposes, and with all the foibles and failures, and he just works it out, which should give us all a great deal of encouragement, I think.
Yeah, it should, and that's what we want to kind of keep saying to people is,
absolutely,
even though you don't feel like you're capable, right? There's a reason why you're there.
Yeah,
you've been put there for something maybe you don't understand.
I think always we don't understand the full impact of. He's got the big. Doesn't seem to make sense. Never seems to be in a straight line, and yet he's working it out. And you just bump into people and have these incredible opportunities to share more and more of it, which at the moment I think the world's a bit broken and people are feeling a little unsure and uncertain, and I think a lot of people are questioning faith and spirituality, and particularly in business circles seems to be much more of a conversation in that space, which is fantastic.
Yeah, it's good. We want people to, because it's just going to be helpful.
Absolutely.
It's just going to build people up to continue to develop and to give more, because ultimately, like if your mindset is on profit, right, you're not going to be successful, right? Your mindset needs to be, as a business person, as a leader, is how can we create value? How can we give more to the world? And once you do that, you'll be successful.
Money works. As long as you've got someone like you floating around, Mark, who can make the finances happen. Look, I love your book. I think it's a great thing.
Thank you.
And with the different aspects you've talked about, lots of great practical application of biblical principles and scriptures that absolutely are in the real world.
Yep.
Can we talk about just your own walk with him? As you said, we're busy, we've got 1,000 things going on.
Yep.
How do you manage, looking after yourself, looking after your relationships, and just your sort of personal walk with God, with prayer and study? How do you manage some of those things? Yeah,
well, I wrote a daily devotional, so that helped.
That's right.
To give me a walk. So I try to read the Bible as often as I can, but I try. It's probably once or twice a week now. Other than like my daily passage from Daily Wisdom, is what I try to do, and I always feel good when I do it, but I don't do it enough. So it's one of those things where it's like it's like when I go in the gym as well, and it's another thing we'll talk about here.
Yeah.
But from a Christ perspective, I try to visit. We try to go to church regularly, at least once a week, and when I'm in church, participate in the Eucharist, which is the most beautiful thing we've got and He's given us. In our church, we truly believe that the bread and the body become the bread and the blood and the wine become the body and the blood of Jesus, and participating in that is like a renewal for us. Confession as well is a big sacrament in our religion as well. So repentance and confession through a priest. And so I try to go see my confession father at least once every couple of months to kind of get, it's like a nice kind of refresh. It's like getting a kind of a detailed clean of the car.
That's right. Extra depth.
And that's beautiful. And with a relationship, and so there's a beautiful stat I learned recently when I did like a marriage preparation course as part of our church, and the statistics, I'm a numbers guy again, so I love statistics. It was like, okay, most of the divorces in this world end in about 40-50% of marriages end in divorce, which is quite a large number, right? It's like, if you're a betting man, you take those odds, right?
That's right, yeah.
But a beautiful part of the statistic I heard next is if you pray, or couples who pray at least once a day together, their percentage of divorce is less than 1%, is like significantly less than 1%. So like almost like zero, which is...
That's incredible, isn't it? What an incredible stat.
And so it's a beautiful way to connect with my partner, develop that relationship, and also to connect with God.
Yeah.
In terms of health, one thing I do is I try to do intermittent fasting every day. So I always try to eat once, maximum twice a day. I'm on holiday now, so I try to.
We had a good lunch. We're going out to dinner. So
I know, it was great. And so that's good. So that's the thing I do for my health, and like from my research, that's one of the best things you can do for your health is intermittent fasting, because you got your body kind of firing. And I try to do like long,
particularly for men.
Particularly for men,
yeah.
It's just a bit different for men and women.
I like Huberman stuff, so I do his whole morning routine to one degree or another.
Yeah.
And his fasting through till lunch, or at least through to 11 o'clock-ish, and not eating like 3 hours or 3 hours before you go to bed.
Yeah,
so 3-2-1. No, 3-2-1.
What's that?
Before you go to bed, so 3 hours before no food, 2 hours before no alcohol.
Interesting. Yeah,
most of my TikTok bro friends are going like 0 alcohol. Well, actually like a glass of red wine. No. And then no blue light 1 hour.
Interesting. Blue light. That's a good one. Yeah. Yeah, the red light setups are really good as well.
Yeah.
To get that one in.
So intermittent fasting is super important?
Yeah, intermittent fasting. I try to do prolonged fasting as well, like maybe once a month, like maybe 48, 72 hours of no food as well.
Do you find there's a spiritual component? Because you think about all Christian tradition in all sorts of different areas. Fasting is an important piece. Jesus used to fast 40 days. Haven't tried that. Wouldn't recommend it.
It's a lot. Yeah.
It's a lot. But I've tried a 7-day fast.
Oh, nice.
And I didn't feel hungry.
Yeah.
Because I actually felt God was asking me to do it. So something I wouldn't choose to do. I didn't feel hungry that 7 days. And it was almost like all your spiritual senses, being aware of his presence and praying and just all those things just got absolutely dialed up. So do you find there's an alignment between spiritual experience and fasting?
Definitely. There's so many examples in the Bible where people want to make big decisions and they would fast for 3 days and then they go make this decision or something's shown to them. I really believe that.
It's not talked about a lot, is it now?
No. And in our church, right, the way we do it is we fast regularly. Like we fast quite regularly, like probably make it almost like 2/3 of the year we're technically fasting, but we fast from a different perspective of we do like a vegan diet sometimes or like a pescatarian diet. Sometimes as well. And so it's just a way to train the body so your body isn't kind of in control, but you're in control of your body. And I think that from a spiritual perspective is massive because we're not connected to the flesh again. Right. And we know that the flesh is what we have in the world, but what is going to go to heaven, hopefully, is our souls.
Who's in control there? I like that. That's disciplining the body.
Yeah.
That's great. So intermittent fasting. What else? You're obviously pretty fit and healthy.
I try. I'm not going to the gym as much. I try to go for walks, and I've got like a bit of machines at home. I do some exercise, but I need to get back into the gym.
I was at the gym this morning.
A little more. I know. I need to get back into it. And supplements. I try to supplement regularly and understand my body. So I do blood tests quite regularly, every 6 to 12, maybe every 3 to kind of 6 months. Do blood tests to check where my levels are at, and I do like I recently did like a test for kind of my microbiome as well, and checking where that one is. Very important. So just like kind of testing around there. And so I'm a director of a supplement company, so it works out really
you can
well
drop
to
the
get
name. You can drop the name.
Yeah, I say it's Level Up Health.
Level Up Health. We'll drop that in the thing as well.
Yeah, why not? It's we've got some amazing products as well,
Yep.
and so it's a really really good opportunity. And so you don't want to just randomly supplement. You really want to kind of target supplement. And like me being in my age, 34 is when my testosterone is going to start to kind of decrease. So you want to start thinking about natural testosterone.
I'm not enjoying this conversation so far.
And so that's part of how I take care of my health.
Yeah, totally. Great. I do the same thing. Like with the supplementation. It's really good. Did the methylated genetic testing to see where the gaps are. Peptides I found were really good with the injured shoulder, like super fast recovery. So there's a whole bunch of stuff in that space that
it's amazing.
Is either kind of flies under the radar a little bit, I think.
It's incredible. And there's so many like average supplement companies that sell really average stuff. Like I don't recommend taking a multivitamin, right? Because that's kind of useless. I don't recommend taking like vitamin C, that's ascorbic acid, because you can get like better vitamin C elsewhere. And so I don't recommend taking like the B12 that's like cyanocobalamin, where you can get like the methylated one that's a lot better for you. And so there's few nuances.
Science,
yeah, there's a lot. And so it's a lot of work to really think about this, but I did a lot of kind of research, and now I'm just like, I'm just riding that wave now. And luckily I work with people who are a lot smarter than me in this one. And so there's a lot of people I can turn to for advice on health and supplements. Yeah,
it's a fascinating space. I certainly got into it post 60. I kind of got into, okay, what do I manage, and what's declining, and how can I not replace, but how can I stimulate my body to continue to make it as much as possible, particularly tea. So it's a fascinating area.
No, it's a good one.
It's another rabbit hole we can go down. Anything else around nutrition?
I try to not eat too many carbs as well. I do love kind of bread, but try to stay away from it as much, and just try to keep simple whole foods. I don't like Macca's or I like fried chicken, but I try to stay away from KFC and other stuff. But I try to eat as little processed food as possible. But I do love chocolate, and so that's probably one of my biggest Achilles heels.
Helen's the same.
Yeah,
can't have it in the house. Just get it.
Literally, if I even have a house, it's gone. Literally. So I try to. And Mary's always like, "Hey, I want chocolate," and I'm like, "If it's in the house, it's going to be eaten."
It's fair game.
It's not around.
There is something about that. Just the discipline of. If you're relying on your self-discipline, probably don't. So I think with the health and wellness, trying to put in things that you enjoy, that can be replicated over time. That I think it's the same with studying the Bible or going to the gym, for instance. If you consistently do it over time, you get an outcome.
Yeah.
But if you go to the gym and come home, you're not going to be able to see any difference.
Yeah, you look in the mirror. Oh, am I bigger now? No,
has it worked? No, but you do it for a year. And the same, I think, with the spiritual disciplines of connecting with Him, surrendering to Him, trying to think of His presence during the day, I think is really important. Going into a meeting, Lord, just guide me, lead me, just give me insights, give me favor here. Like, what are you wanting to get out of this?
A quick sign of a cross, a quick Our Father. It's just like it'll take you like 20 seconds, but it makes the world of difference.
Whatever it is that will sort of trigger your mindset or open your heart to the presence of God and what He's wanting to do, I think it's great. So for me, the kingdom of God is where He's king. So if we're opening up ourselves and what He's asked us to do in our vocation, in our calling, in our whatever our workplace is, then we're actually bringing the kingdom of God to wherever that is. And I think we generally as Christians underestimate the impact that we can have if we're truly surrendered to Him wherever He's placed us.
Yep.
Yeah.
Amazing.
Mark, anything else you'd say to even young Christians of your age who are kind of wrestling in the entrepreneurial, starting their business kind of space? Anything else you'd say to them?
I'd say at first I want to talk to Christians who were probably brought up in the church and who felt like they've distanced themselves from the church for whatever reason. And again, I've spoken to many of my friends who've been in this stage, and it's just like, hey, just open your heart again, right? And just it's okay, right? And I've spoken to many people who've had bad experiences in church, and I spoke to people who've their dads were abused and things like that. And if you're judging the church based on its people, we're all sinners, right? And so it's going to be honest. So I want to say to people who are outside the church, just to kind come back, right? Like Jesus is there. Jesus is talking to you. And as Christians, we need to continue to show Jesus's grace and God's grace to make sure that we that when people are ready to come, that we're there for them. For people, young Christians in this space, in the entrepreneurial and business space, I just want to say that you'll find more success and more fulfillment in your spiritual life than in your business life.
Yeah, I love that. Such a good word. I think that's a real good word for this season today. I think God's doing something. You know, I've had 3 people that I work with, I have association with at work. One's given his life to the Lord, and the other 2 have come back.
Yeah,
I've had some childhood experience of church. They've come back and they've been going like, there's got to be more to life than this. What's it all about? And they've started going back and praying again and sort of seeking him again. So I think we're in quite a unique season, you know, with the world being turned upside down in lots of different ways.
Yeah.
People are going, what's it all about? And they can find certainty and love and connection in finding Jesus in whatever community they're you know, comfortable in.
Agreed.
Yeah, it's good, mate.
Yeah.
Well, Mark, thank you so much for coming. It's great to meet you. We haven't met
pleasure.
before,
Yeah,
so I've just really enjoyed spending some time with you.
It's been beautiful.
Mary. Looking forward
amazing.
to joining you on Sunday morning at the Coptic Church as well. That'll be great.
Amazing.
Congratulations on your book,
Thank
Daddy
you so
Wisdom
much.
Well. So Mark Mansour, you got Mark Ralph on here.
Mark
How does
Ralph.
that
So
work?
Ralph is my middle name. It is my dad's name.
Yeah.
And so I wanted to pay homage to my dad and my middle name, and that's my baptism name as well, actually.
Love it.
And so that's why. And what I was trying to say, we're going to give it's called a 20% off if you purchase via the website. If you use the code Monday.
Monday.
Yep.
Code Monday.
Yep.
Beautiful. 20% off.
Yep.
Awesome. You should pay 20% more, I think, for this, Mark. It's actually fabulous.
I want to give it out to as many people as they can. I'm trying to trump you when it comes to giving the book out. It's the most. But we want to create like a really good system so we can continue to help people and to develop. And the thing about this book is there's no profit from it. All profits are going to get donated to Christian communities. And so the more we sell, the more we can give to others.
Love your heart, Mark. And anyone who reads it's going to be impacted by it, which is awesome. So I
hope so.
Thank you, my friend.
Thank you so much, Mark.
Great to see you. Thanks for coming.
Done. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Amazing.
Thanks for joining us at the Monday Movement Vodcast. Please like, subscribe, and share. And if you want to know more about what we do, you can find us at mondaymovement.com.